So you just look within yourself, and you'll be fine. I mean, where else are you going to go? You can tell the fabrications of old Dark Age religions that they didn't know anything is how they missed everything. They missed all the key points. And one of them was, of course, the initial one. Where do you go? Where do you think you go? You're born here, you live for some duration, and you die here. Fact. Hard, cold fact. So you can see when they say, well, you're going somewhere. You're going to a big candy land, a big fantasy, happy candy land. Oh boy, is it nice there. Oh geez, you're just gonna be, and you're just, oh God. You want sex? Oh, you're gonna have sex. You want food? Oh, you got everything. I mean, it's really great there. Oh, all the best chefs in the world. Go. Made it up. Completely made up because they didn't know. And another one. Look at their view of history. They didn't know anything. So they just thought, well, it began and there was humans and all the stuff. Just like that. See? So science, that we know, actually looking at the earth, reading the geologic record, actually looking into the heavens at the sky and all the stars like Galileo and others. People actually looking from Darwin and Einstein and Heisenberg and on and on and on, and it pulls the rug out. It dissolved everything of the myth that religion was built on. There was some history, a very, very long history, before humans showed up. Long. Whew. Jeez. We're millions and millions and millions of years. See, it was all just religion. Just thought they didn't know anything. There were people, ignorant people, they didn't know much, so they just thought it was, time is like right now. Well, it began just, with us humans, and humans, and here we are, and now it's just us. They didn't know anything. And all down through these centuries and millennia, you're still supposed to be holding on to their view of ignorance? Well, you've outgrown that. They're wrong. There is no creation myth. There is no 7 days, 7 days? It created in 7 days. There is no, there was this lump sea, and then there was this water all around, and suddenly there was this big guy, a really big guy, and he's up there just in ether spacey, and he's sleeping on a big coiled snake. And his wife comes along and tickles his foot, and he dreams. All of us. I mean, all these stories, folks, just fantasy stories. Made up. They just didn't know. Look at the Aztec stories, or the Mayan stories, or the ancient, any group. The Incas, throughout Africa, India, pick a place. They all were just fumbling along in the dark about a lot of stuff they didn't know. They didn't know what a flood was. They didn't know what earthquake was. They thought a mistaken view, and particularly the Judeo-Christian and whatnot, and others, was that there must be a judgment being made. And it had to be about humans. Made up. Ignorant stuff. You've outgrown it. And all you 21st century people know it. You're already there. You're just looking for that last little catalyst, to cut through and just cut it off and let go. Let go of all that stuff. And not go back. Not give it any credence. And in particular, you don't want to give it credence because they use those silly, childish myths to justify repression, control, denial, which is really a big aspect of what religion was through history. It was the controlling of people. It was the way to unify and pull people of a group together, and you set up these rules and boundaries, and then you cloaked it all with this big fantasy fabrication of the big rationale of a fabricated God. Or gods. Doesn't matter. When there never was God. It was just used, made up excuses to justify repression of women, to justify social control, say what you could eat, what clothes you could wear, that you could behave in certain ways according to the religion. Because if you didn't, oh boy, you're outside the religion, oh boy, oh gosh, you're gonna suffer, oh gosh, oh boy. Lunatic stuff, made up. Social control. And when you see history, you look through, that's why we can't go there anymore, because we're so much more intelligently evolved. We know the history, we've looked through the writings and the residue of all that stuff and see the behaviors. And we just say, well, that was then. They didn't know anything. Here we are now. We're in the 21st century, not the 10th. We got a much better understanding based on actual observation, study, analysis, research of all types. And that is so much more valid than myth. Fabricated stories, ghost stories, supernatural fantasies. Because it clarifies everything. Reality clarifies. Reality points out the purpose of life. Reality points out the history, where you are now, where you've been, the purpose. Because when you look at the big scale, of course, the big scale here, what is the purpose? Did dinosaurs have a purpose? Elephant, tiger, cat, dog, they got a purpose? There were dinosaurs over 100 million years of existence, dominating the planet. And other epochs as well, with other massive changes in species over massive amounts of time. And here's humans, thinking they just started. It just started with humans. Oh, we were just here. This big guy just made us. Here we are, bing, and there we are, and it's all humans. And that's it, and our history is... See? They didn't know anything. They were wrong. You don't keep on limping along, carrying along the baggage of those that were wrong. And particularly because it's all being used as repression. The use of being, all those myths, all those stories are being used as justifications for repression of homosexuals, repression of women, to justify repression and segregation and even violence against people who aren't part of your little religion. It's crazy stuff. That's old, dark age, ignorant stuff. That's back when, 90% or better of the population was illiterate. And so you just scared them. Big, you're going to a bad place if you don't do what we tell you. Oh, geez, better follow our rules and our little God here, because if you don't, he's going to, oh boy, you're big trouble. It's just social control. And when you look over the history, that's what you see. The gradual separating out from that binding, peeling the onion of the controlling mythology, repression, guilt-tripping, moralistic angst and moralistic domination of their little religions over you. Peeling it away. And it happened because humans actually looked. They stopped listening and paying attention to the myth, the storyline. And they actually went and looked, analyzed, studied. The stupidity like the earth was 6,000 years old. You can look at the history and say, wait a minute, that was just made up by this guy in the 1600s. And he said he was going to find out how old the earth was. And what did he do to research it? All he did was pick up the book of myths that they have. What's that going to call? The Bible. They pick up that one, myths, and they just went through that, the Old Testament there, put it together and said, well, he never looked at the earth, never studied the earth, analyzed the earth at all. He was completely wrong. So to continue perpetuating it with today is to say, you're perpetuating ignorance. Not religion, you're perpetuating ignorance. Repression, ignorance. Because then you say, oh, you're not going to believe that. Oh, then you're against the religion. Same thing with equal rights. Women, homosexuals, all peoples. And they say, oh, you can't do that because it's against our religion. The religion is the instrument of repression. And it's built on fabrication, on error, on myth, on fraud, on a big lie of ignorance. 21st century people, you get it. You're over it. You're way over it. You let it all go, all the way through, so that you even get that there never was God. Gods. They're all just made up things. And you take a big sigh of relief. And you look at reality in the 21st century. What is the purpose then? Is there a purpose? Well, did the dinosaurs have a purpose? They were around for over 100 million years. Humans haven't been around anywhere near that long. What about all the other species? They don't have a purpose? They do have a purpose? What's their purpose? Here we are. And when you get to, 21st century intelligence, then you start to see it clearly. Then you start to get the understanding that comes through. And just like the machinery back there in the background, raising up and ringing the thing, you're cutting through the myths, delusions, no longer abiding by that stuff. And you say, you get it. You finally are getting that big picture that's there already within you and has always been. Even down through the centuries. All through that ignorant era. It's always been there with you, just like it is today. Your real nature. The vast clarity, wisdom nature. Naturally there. You've always had it. You didn't have to go anywhere. And there you are. You don't go anywhere. You're born here, you live for some duration, you die here. Reality. And when you look within yourself and get this thing, because that's where it all is, you get that big understanding. Because you're here in the 21st century. You're no longer buffing around in the dark, knocking into things, getting thinking, bumping into something and thinking, oh boy, what's that? Well, I don't know, I can't tell, You're no longer there. The light's on. It's on within you. Welcome to the 21st century.